Landman isn't just digging into the oil fields anymore. Now it's knee-deep in legal quicksand. Taylor Sheridan, the man behind Yellowstone's empire, is facing a lawsuit that could stop Landman Season 2 in its tracks. Is this just Hollywood noise, or the beginning of the end for one of Sheridan's boldest shows yet? Today, we're breaking down the lawsuit, the fallout, and what no one else is saying about the battle behind the scenes, because this legal drama might be more intense than anything on screen. What is the legal drama all about? When it comes to Taylor Sheridan, drama doesn't just stay on screen, sometimes it spills straight into the courtroom. The legal trouble surrounding Landman Season 2 stems from accusations that the series may have borrowed too heavily from real-life accounts without proper credit or compensation. While the specifics are still unfolding, reports suggest that a former collaborator or source tied to the oil industry, which Landman is based on, is claiming ownership or contribution to the original concept. What makes this especially messy is that Landman wasn't pulled out of thin air. It's inspired by the Boomtown podcast and real stories from Texas oil workers, gritty, raw material that's already legally murky when adapted for Hollywood. Sheridan, known for pulling from authentic experiences and conversations with industry insiders, might have crossed a line between research and intellectual property. And now that line could cost the production valuable time and money. If the lawsuit gains traction, it could set a dangerous precedent not just for Landman, but for the entire Sheridan-verse. Writers, journalists, or podcast creators might start challenging the ownership of any series loosely inspired by their work. This legal cloud isn't just threatening Landman Season 2's schedule, it's testing how far Sheridan can go with blending fact and fiction without the legal papers hitting the fan. And if he loses this round, it may change how his future stories get told, or even who gets to tell them. How this could delay Landman Season 2. When lawsuits hit Hollywood, time stops. Literally. Legal action against Landman doesn't just threaten Sheridan's reputation, it risks grinding the entire production to a halt. Scripts may need to be reviewed line by line, scenes reworked, or entire episodes delayed if they're tied to disputed material. And with big names like Billy Bob Thornton in the mix, there's zero room for risk. No studio wants to shoot scenes that could be pulled later by a court order, or worse, lead to millions in damages. But here's the trickiest part. Even if Sheridan and his team win the case, the process itself is a production killer. Court filings, depositions, legal reviews, they slow down the creative engine. Behind every scene, lawyers and execs now need to sign off. And let's not forget that while this legal fog looms, actor schedules shift, crew contracts expire, and sets sit unused. Every delay risks unraveling the momentum Landman built with Season 1. And if fans are wondering why there's radio silence from the cast or lack of promo updates, this could be the reason. Legal disputes usually mean NDAs, tight lips, and no PR push. That silence can hurt buzz and viewership, especially with so many new series competing for attention. If Sheridan doesn't resolve this quickly, Landman Season 2 won't just be delayed, it might lose its edge before it even premieres. What it means for Landman's cast and crew. While headlines focus on Taylor Sheridan and the legal firestorm surrounding Landman, it's the cast and crew who may feel the immediate impact the most. Big-name stars like Billy Bob Thornton didn't sign on to sit in limbo. And when a production slows down or stalls completely, actors with packed schedules may be forced to walk away or reprioritize other projects. That could lead to recasting, rewritten storylines, or in the worst-case scenario, a completely different direction for Season 2 than originally planned. Behind the camera, the situation isn't any smoother. Crew members, from location scouts to lighting teams, often work on tight contracts tied to set dates and shooting windows. A delay caused by legal uncertainty can result in sudden unemployment, reshuffling of teams, or strained loyalty to a show that once promised stability. In an industry where time is money, a stalled production can burn through a budget before cameras even roll, forcing Sheridan and Paramount to make tough calls about who stays and who gets cut. And then there's morale. Working under the looming threat of a lawsuit changes everything on set. Creative freedom is replaced by caution, Trust gives way to second guessing. Cast and crew may start to wonder, is this show in trouble? Should I distance myself now? That kind of uncertainty can kill creative momentum and bleed into the final product. Even if Landman Season 2 survives this legal drama, the scars it leaves behind on the people making it could be hard to hide on screen. Who owns the story of Landman and why it matters? At the heart of the legal battle brewing around Landman lies a question that could reshape more than just this one show. Who really owns the story? Taylor Sheridan is known for basing his shows on real conversations, gritty interviews, and personal testimonies from people living on the edges of American industry. Landman, in particular, draws heavily from true accounts within the oil fields of Texas, including a well-known podcast called Boomtown. The legal issue? Some are claiming Sheridan didn't just find inspiration, he took ownership of someone else's lived experience. This matters because in Hollywood, the line between inspired by and stolen from is razor thin. If someone contributed interviews, recordings, or original story elements even informally, they could argue they deserve credit or compensation. And if those claims hold up in court, Landman becomes more than a drama series. It becomes a test case in intellectual property law, journalism ethics, and how far creatives can go when adapting real life into high-stakes television. For fans and creators alike, the outcome could ripple across the entire industry. If Sheridan is forced to share credit or rewrite portions of the series, it could not only delay Season 2, it could shift how all future based on a true story shows are developed. Will networks tighten their legal processes? Will creators be more cautious when collecting source material? In the battle over Landman, the question isn't just who owns the story, it's who has the right to tell it. Worst case scenario, could Season 2 be canceled or rebranded? When legal firestorms hit a production like Landman, studios don't just worry about lawsuits, they start preparing for damage control. And in the worst case scenario, that means canceling or completely rebranding Season 2. If the legal claims against Sheridan or Paramount gain serious traction, especially around ownership of the story or specific characters, the studio might be forced to halt production entirely. That doesn't just mean delays, it could mean scrapping scripts, shelving episodes, or pulling the plug before anything airs. One drastic but very real possibility is a quiet rebrand. We've seen this tactic before. Keep the same cast and general themes, but change the show's name, shift its narrative focus, and distance it from the controversy. Sheridan could be forced to pivot Landman into a looser anthology format, still set in the oil world, but without the legally disputed storylines or character arcs. That kind of rebranding saves face, protects the network, and dodges lawsuits, but it also risks losing the original vision that fans signed up for. And let's not forget, studios make business decisions, not emotional ones. If the legal headache outweighs the potential ratings or revenue, Paramount may decide Landman just isn't worth the fight. Especially with other Sheridan shows like Yellowstone, 1923, and Lioness in full swing, they could quietly shelve Landman Season 2 and focus attention elsewhere. If that happens, fans won't get a dramatic finale, they'll get silent. And in Hollywood, silence often means it's already over. If this legal mess spirals, Landman Season 2 might never see the light of day, or it could return looking nothing like the show we were promised. Is this a creative rights showdown, a cover-up, or something even bigger? Drop your theories in the comments, hit that like button if you want the real story to come out, and subscribe for all the leaks, lawsuits, and wild turns happening in the Sheridan-verse. One thing's for sure, this drama is just getting started.